Shana Tova and Shabbat Shalom. I became the new rabbi of Adat Shalom this year on Saturday, July 1st. It was an amazing and lovely day here in the sanctuary as I had the honor of leading services with our cantor and sharing a Devar Torah with the community. Even though that day was technically my first day, the routine felt familiar, as I have been on the bima here for years as Torah reader, student intern, and guest rabbi. The very next day, Sunday, July 2nd, I had the honor of officiating at a beautiful wedding, the first wedding I have done in the Adat Shalom community. We took pictures and said blessings and dined and danced in celebration of two families joining to become a new family all their own. After all of this weekend of celebration, the office was closed for the next 2 days in observance of the July 4th holiday. So Wednesday, July 5th was my first day in the office. After 2 days of joyous celebration and 2 days of American legal holiday, coming into the rabbi's study for the first time with the task of settling in and making it my own felt a bit disorienting. I felt like a writer holding a pen and staring at a blank page. Where should I begin? Thankfully, as I sat on the sofa in the rabbi's study and started to fathom this task, I was not alone. Our executive director, Rena Lee Flug, was right by my side. She explained that before long, she'd like for the rabbi's study to be repainted, now that there were no pictures of baseball players on the walls, or any other art for that matter. This was an ideal time to repaint. At first I felt surprised, and then I felt honored. I've had the privilege of serving other Jewish communities and having my own office there, but no one had ever offered to repaint. I could even choose the colors. This was gonna be great. So then I asked my next question: when will we repaint? I don't remember the exact words of the answer I received, but it was something to the effect of, I don't exactly know, but we'll do it as soon as we can. In that moment, hearing those words, I fully felt the uncertainty of this new beginning. Of course, I was still every bit as enthusiastic as I was a few days before, but in this moment, for the first time, I realized that opening this new chapter in my life and in the history of Adat Shalom would take time. I began to understand that opening a new chapter is not only about beginning, it is also about becoming. Our Torah describes in the book of Exodus a conversation between Moses and God that takes place after the children of Israel miraculously crossed the Sea of Reeds to escape slavery in Egypt. God calls to Moses and says, "Thus you shall say to the house of Jacob and declare to the children of Israel, you have seen what I did to the Egyptians, how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to me. Now if you will obey me faithfully and keep my covenant, you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation." There are many questions Torah scholars have asked about this passage, many words to focus on and explicate. Rashi, our most widely studied Torah commentator, hones in on the word now, as in we should start to obey God faithfully and keep God's covenant now. Rashi says that we should indeed accept and follow these commandments, and we should do that right away, and that will be easiest for us because all beginnings are difficult. Kol hatchalot kashot. This comment from Rashi is quite well known. For rabbinic commentary, it's catchy and it's relatable. But I think it carries a difficulty that we might easily overlook. It can be easy to stand at the threshold of a new beginning and see the challenges ahead. So we must remember that Rashi's comment focuses us on the word now. A new beginning is time sensitive. The more willing we are to embrace the work of beginning, the more fully we can embrace the journey of becoming. The Israelites in the desert were on their journey to the promised land to live there in accordance with God's commandments, and that journey, as we know, would take time. But beginning to live in accordance with God's commandments and leaving behind the mindset of enslavement, of lacking the power to choose one's way of life, that internal shift could happen right away. In other words, when we are willing to begin something now, we are paving our own road ahead, preparing for the journey of becoming. When we are willing to begin now, we are giving ourselves a great gift. And now, in the Rabbi study, a couple of months after that first conversation, that important beginning, things are different. The shelves have been dusted, repaired, and straightened. The closets and drawers have been emptied out and organized back in. And yes, there is a beautiful fresh coat of paint on the walls, thanks to our extraordinary facilities manager, Cesar Olivares. Cesar. Yet, lest I think for a moment that I have finished both the time-sensitive process of beginning and the journey of becoming, I am blessed to receive feedback on my current decor from most everyone who visits. That feedback, most well-intentioned and perhaps unsurprisingly uniform, is as follows. You sure need some art on these bare walls. My response attempts to share the wisdom that our executive director shared with me, that a new becoming takes time, and it's impossible to predict exactly how that process will unfold. And so I say in response, you're right, I do need some art on the walls, and I'm looking forward to making that happen as soon as I can. It's been a sweet and humbling experience for me to learn and to share Rena Lee's wisdom in this process of moving from beginning to becoming. On that first day, without even noticing it, I thought that the Rabbi study would be set up completely, almost magically. But over time, I'm continuing to learn that there is an important difference between beginning and becoming. Beginning is quick, it's time sensitive, it seems to start before you're ready and end before you knew what happened. Becoming is a journey with no set timeline and no predetermined endpoint. As I begin a new chapter as senior rabbi of Adat Shalom, and as our community begins a new chapter celebrating Adat Shalom's 75th birthday, I am filled with joy to celebrate these new beginnings. And I am humbled and curious to continue the open-ended journey of our becoming. As we look ahead together to the future, we have the opportunity to decide who we want to become and how we will write this new chapter together. Of course, this is a particularly auspicious time of year for us as Jews to consider a new beginning. It is Rosh Hashanah, the time of year that we are all gathered together, and the time of year that we wish each other Shana Tova, celebrating the completion of the past year and the beginning of the next. At least that's the short explanation for this holiday we're observing together today. Yet, as we know, Jewish tradition loves a long-winded and layered explanation. We are the proud heirs to a way of life that embraces debate, accepts disagreement, and encourages multiple correct answers. Rabbi Arthur Waskow, in his book Seasons of Our Joy, asks, when does the year begin? As with many Jewish questions, there are at least two answers, and both of them are right. Rabbi Waskow looks back at the book of Exodus and reminds us that the month of Nisan, the month in which Passover falls, is technically the first month of the Jewish year. God spoke to Aaron and Moses, saying that Nisan shall be for you the head of months. It shall be for you the first of the months of the year. Rosh Hashanah today is the first day of Tishrei, the seventh month of the year. The seventh month, as we know, is filled with holidays, sacred gatherings that ask us to stop from our usual work, to rest, and to spend time in community and contemplation. Rabbi Waskow adds that the seasons of nature also follow this theme, that this is the perfect time in nature's year to stop and rest, to catch our breath after the dry, hot winds of summer. Rosh Hashanah is the time to catch our breath, to focus on renewal, and to reorient ourselves to ultimate spiritual truth. In other words, this is the perfect time of year for us to consider who we are and who we want to become. Rosh Hashanah itself marks both a new beginning and the start of a season of becoming. On this day, we change the year on our Jewish calendar to 5784. We eat special foods and we have special gatherings like this one here to mark this beginning. And as we know, this holiday is only the beginning of our season of prayer and celebration, gathering and reflection. Rosh Hashanah will end soon, but our season of reflection, our season of becoming, is just beginning. Each year, we have the 10 days of Teshuvah, the time between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, to think about how we want to change. And each year we have Sukkot, our festival of the season of autumn, to begin to enact the changes to which we newly aspire. And for us, the community of Adat Shalom, this particular year is even more different, is even more special. We are celebrating a milestone birthday, and we are ushering in a new chapter of leadership. We have a powerful opportunity right now to begin to decide who we are and who we want to become in the generation ahead. And in order to do this, we must not only look to the broader community, to conservative congregations in our local area and to Masorti congregations worldwide, to get a sense of what others are doing and how we might want to be similar or different. We must also look within ourselves, and we must also look at one another. Of all the Jewish values that exist, which 2 or 3 values are most important to us? Of all the amazing diversity of synagogue activities that are possible, which 2 or 3 do you want to invest yourself in personally? When we are willing to answer these questions now, both individually and as a community, we are taking action to begin a new chapter. And when we take this action, we give ourselves a gift. We give ourselves the gift of paving the road ahead for our journey of becoming. Today, right now, I ask all of us to consider these questions. Of all the Jewish values that exist, which 2 or 3 are most important to us? Of all the different activities and projects a synagogue might take on, which 2 or 3 do you want to invest yourself in personally? There are so many possible answers, correct answers to these questions. I encourage you to share your answers to these questions with your families, with each other, and with me. I am so excited for this new chapter at Adat Shalom. And I am so honored as we celebrate our 75th birthday as a community to journey on the road of becoming and to make real our renewed vision in the weeks, the months, and the years ahead. Shana Tova, Shabbat Shalom.